Hello, welcome to the Daily News Ukraine channel. Today is February 3rd and our daily review of news about Ukraine. Yevgeny Kuzmin, a former Ukrainian law enforcer who defected to the enemy, died as a result of a car explosion in Enerhodar, the satellite town that is home to most workers of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which has been occupied by Russian invasion forces. The executive committee of the Berdyansk City Council reported the news via telegram, according to Ukrinform. Script async src equals https://telegram.org/js/telegram widget.js 21 data telegram post equals Ivan_Fedorov_Melitopol/1288 data width equals 100%/script in Enerhodar, a collaborator Yevgeny Kuzmin was blown up. Before the occupation, he was a Ukrainian law enforcement officer, who then flipped to the enemy side. As a result of the explosion, the collaborator was killed, another car was damaged, and all the windows in a nearby building were shattered, the report reads. Read also, invaders force nearly 3,000 workers at Zaporizhzhia NPP to obtain Russian passports. The report was confirmed by the occupation forces in social media. Earlier, it was reported that around 7 o'clock, a vehicle exploded in the town of Enerhodar. Over the last 24 hours, Russian invaders 65 times have attacked settlements across Kherson region, killing at least 2 civilians and injuring 9. That's according to the Kherson Regional Military Administration, Ukrinform reports. In the past day, 2 people were killed in Kherson region as a result of Russian shelling, and 9 residents of the region sustained wounds of various degrees of severity, the administration reported. It is noted that among the injured is a 5-year-old boy, who is now undergoing treatment in a local hospital. Read also, in Ukraine, 1,378 children casualties reported amid Russia's armed aggression. The Russian army attacked the settlements across Kherson region 65 times, employing artillery, multiple rocket launch systems, mortars, and tanks, officials note. 13 strikes targeted the city of Kherson, where a number of shells hit a shipbuilding plant, a school, and residential buildings. As reported, on the morning of February 2, Russian troops shelled the residential sector of Kamyshany in Kherson region, killing a 44-year-old local woman. The number of missile carriers as part of the Russian naval group in the Black Sea has been increased, therefore a massive missile attack, including with the use of warplanes, cannot be ruled out. That's according to Operational Command South, Ukrinform reports. Among the 10 warships are 2 Kalibr carriers. The total salvo could be 16 missiles, the report says. Intensified operations of Russian reconnaissance drones suggest likely preparations for missile strikes. A massive missile attack may also involve Russian warplanes, the military states. Read also, Russians keeping Kinzhal missiles to hit Ukraine's strategic objects. OC South urged citizens not to ignore air raid alert signals and remain vigilant. The command asked Ukrainians to immediately report to the authorities any suspicious persons around critical infrastructure facilities, military units, and other strategic objects. As Ukrinform reported, from February 24, 2022 to February 3, 2023, Ukraine's defense forces eliminated nearly 129,870 Russian invaders, including 840 in the past day alone. The United States Central Intelligence Agency assesses that the next 6 months will be absolutely crucial in determining the final outcome of the war in Ukraine, Director Bill Burns said Thursday. That's according to CNN, Ukrinform reports. I think what's going to be the key, because we do not assess that Russian President Vladimir Putin is serious about negotiations, the key is going to be on the battlefield in the next 6 months, it seems to us, Burns said, addressing an audience at Georgetown University. That includes puncturing Putin's hubris, making clear that he's not only not going to be able to advance further in Ukraine, but as every month goes by, he runs a greater and greater risk of losing the territory he's illegally seized so far. Read also, enemy attempting to advance in 4 directions, suffering heavy losses. The Russian leader, Burns said, is betting that he can make time work for him. Putin believes that he can grind down Ukraine, while political fatigue will grip Europe and the United States will become distracted, Burns said. But the CIA director said he told one of his Russian counterparts, Sergei Naryshkin, in November that Russian calculation is as deeply flawed as the original decision to go to war last February 24 was. As Ukrinform reported earlier, referring to the U.S. media, Burns secretly visited Kyiv in January to brief the Ukrainian side about Russia's likely military plans. As a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, 459 children were killed and 919 wounded. That's according to the Prosecutor General's office, Ukrinform reports. More than 1,378 children were affected in Ukraine as a result of the full-scale armed aggression by the Russian Federation. As of the morning of February 3, 2023, the official number of child deaths has not changed, standing at 459. The number of injured has increased to 919, the statement reads. The numbers are not final as work is underway to verify incoming data from the hostility zones, as well as the captured and liberated territories. Read also, Lubyanets, Russia committing entire spectrum of genocide against Ukrainian children. The largest numbers of affected children were reported in Donetsk region, 442, Kharkiv region, 270, Kyiv region, 123, Kherson region, 86, Zaporizhia region, 84, Mykolaiv region, 83, Chernihiv region, 68, Luhansk region, 66, and Dnipropetrovsk region, 63. On February 2, a 5-year-old boy was wounded as a result of enemy shelling of Kherson. A total of 3,126 educational facilities were damaged by Russian strikes, of which 337 were completely destroyed. As Ukrinform reported earlier, since February 24, 2022, the National Police registered 9,631 reports as regards 9,764 missing children. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has lost about 200,000 soldiers killed and wounded. This is said in a report published by the New York Times, which analyzes Russian tactics, referring to assessments from American and European officials. That toll, in just 11 months, is 8 times higher than American casualties in 2 decades of war in Afghanistan, the report reads. It is noted Russia suffered huge manpower losses during the fierce battles for Bakhmut and Soledar. At the same time, experts say that the loss of life is unlikely to be a deterrent to Putin's war aims. Putin can sustain hundreds of thousands of casualties in Ukraine, although higher numbers could cut into his political support, the report reads. Experts also pointed to myriad military supply and tactical problems to explain the Russian tactics. The Russian military is running low on artillery, standoff munitions. The Russian command is substituting these shortages by sending convicts in human waves to the front lines. Moscow has thrown people it sees as expendable into battles for decades, if not centuries, in particular during World War II, the report says. As reported, the armed forces of Ukraine eliminated about 129,870 Russian troops in Ukraine from February 24, 2022 to February 3, 2023. The armed forces of Ukraine eliminated about 129,870 Russian troops in Ukraine from February 24, 2022 to February 3, 2023. Including 840 soldiers over the past day alone. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in a post on Facebook, according to Ukrinform. The enemy's total combat losses include also 3,215 tanks, plus 4 over the past day, 6,388 armored personnel vehicles, plus 6, 2,215 artillery systems, plus 3, 460 multiple launch rocket systems, plus 2, 222 air defense systems, 294 aircraft, plus 1, 284 helicopters, 5,068 vehicles, plus 4, 18 warships/boats, 1,952 unmanned aerial vehicles, 202 special equipment units, plus 2. A total of 796 enemy cruise missiles were shot down. As reported by Ukrinform on February 2, Russian invaders, suffering heavy losses, continued to conduct offensive operations in the Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Novopavlivka directions. On the night of February 3, Russian forces again fired artillery at Nikopol city in Dnipropetrovsk region. Acting head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration, Volodymyr Orlov, said this in a Facebook post, Ukrinform reports. At night, the Russians terrorized Nikopol again. They shelled the city with barrel artillery. Fortunately, no one was injured, he wrote. The consequences of the attack are being established. Read also, Russian troops shell Kupiansk again, woman injured in other districts of Dnipropetrovsk region, the situation was calm. As reported by Ukrinform on the night of February 2, Russian troops shelled the Nikopol district, in particular Nikopol city. Photo, illustrative I. Since February 24, 2022, the National Police has received 9,631 reports of 9,764 missing children. Yaroslav Shenko, deputy head of the Juvenile Prevention Department of the National Police of Ukraine, announced this at a briefing at Media Center Ukraine Ukrinform. Since the introduction of martial law on the territory of Ukraine, as of today, the National Police of Ukraine has received 9,631 reports of 9,764 missing children. Currently, active search for 347 children is underway. Of them, 323 children have gone missing in the areas of combat actions, he said. Shenko reminded that information about the disappearance of a child could be provided to law enforcers via the Search for Children chatbot on Telegram. According to him, juvenile prevention units have reached agreements with an international organization regarding the creation of a mobile application aimed at finding missing children in war conditions by comparing information, including their images. This direction is still under development. The National Police representative also stated that the number of crimes committed by Russia against Ukrainian children is growing every day. According to the latest data, the invaders have killed 459 children, including 176 in Donetsk region, 80 in Kharkiv region, 58 in Kiev region, 25 in Kherson region, and 23 in Chernihiv region. As reported, as of February 2, a total of 347 children in Ukraine were considered as missing, 9,417 as found. Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani has said that an Italian-French SAMP/T air defense system will be deployed in Ukraine within the next 2 months. According to RAI News, Tajani said the anti-aircraft missile shield to protect Kiev and other strategic areas will be operational in Ukraine within the next 7 to 8 weeks. At the same time, the Italian foreign minister emphasized that the international community should strive to protect Ukrainian independence and work for peace. Read also, Reznikov in France signs memorandum on supply of 2 GM200 radars for air defense. Ukrinform earlier reported that Italy, together with France, would provide Ukraine with SAMP/T air defense systems capable of hitting aircraft at a distance of up to 100 kilometers, and missiles at a distance of up to 25 kilometers. Both countries also agreed to purchase 700 Aster 30 anti-aircraft missiles worth about €2 billion for the SAMP/T system, which will be transferred to Ukraine. Photo, Open Sources I. Today we were talking about those news. Russian accomplice killed in Enerhodar car blast. 2 civilians killed, 9 injured as Russians strike at Kherson region 65 times in past day. Russians now have 16 Kalibr missiles, combat-ready off Crimea coast. Next 6 months, critical for outcome of Russo-Ukrainian war, CIA chief. In Ukraine, 1,378 children casualties reported amid Russia's armed aggression. Number of Russian troops killed and wounded in Ukraine approaching 200,000 NYT. Armed forces of Ukraine already eliminated 129,870 Russian invaders. Russians shelled Dnipropetrovsk region's Nikopol overnight. National Police received reports of 9,764 missing children since war began. SAMP/T air defense system will be deployed in Ukraine within next 2 months, Italian Foreign Minister.